Okay, so 60 paladins booming challenge on BF. I think I might have to speed it up a little bit just because I don't have my YouTube account verified, so I think I'm capped by 15 minutes. Um, my videos have to be under 15 minutes, but it might just be fine anyway. So I have 4 on the hunt, and that's just enough to keep the TC going. Of course, my goal is to get uh, as much on wood as soon as I can, to get the dock out as soon as I can, and then obviously produce fishing ships. And I'm fine with having my deer rot. There's plenty of food in Dark Age, and we will even save some of it for later, for Imperial. So you just want to be as fast as possible with the lures, take the sheep, and grab the 2 boars with the scout. And yeah, so as you can see, this map is pretty damn good. It's got a very close woodline here, woodline there, nice golds stacked up together, main gold here. And one of the extra rules in this challenge was that you're not allowed to sell stone, which is usually a big thing for, paladin players. But other than that, it's a normal pocket setup. Um, but yeah, the end goal is not to have the best eco possible long term, but to reach the 60 full upgrade paladins as soon as you can. So there are slight changes which I hope I will cover as this build proceeds. So this will go back on foot, and we're gonna grab the boar now. And the way you do this is you let the boar hit you twice. So this is the most, the safest way to do it. You have 45 HP. Each boar hit takes 10 HP off of your scout. So you can lure 2 boars this way, have both of them hit you twice. But if you try to go for 3 boars, then at least one of them will only hit you once, and that means a very high chance of the boar glitching out on you. And yeah, if it goes back, it's just a huge failure. Because then you'd have to go with the Vil, which you would in a normal game, but this is not a normal game. This is a pure boom scenario. So a lot of mistakes. I mean, a lot of guys do this mistake of having the rally point too long on the closest fish, and then have like 4 or 5 fishing ships on the same fish. It's better to spread them out evenly because they don't like bump against each other later when they are done with this one. There's always be enough food for you to be able to click up in a scenario like this. But yeah, just like mathematically speaking, it's best to get the dock in about like as close to the middle of the lake as possible, rather to the middle of all the fish that are in the lake, and then just spread your fish evenly. So if you're gonna do 8 fish, you do 2 per. 8 fishing ships, you would do 2 per fish, right? But I think I'm gonna go for 9 if I remember correctly. So yeah, the way I did this challenge was I kind of calculated which economical upgrades are worthwhile researching and which aren't. And I've decided like how many docks I'm gonna do, and then I launched a bunch of map generations until I got a really nice one, which is this one that you're looking at. And then I did a few runs, and when I was happy with the result, I shipped my wreck to Cool Cat. So it's not perfectly done. For sure, it could be improved upon, but I think at least the start should be pretty damn sharp. Long distancing the 30 gold, because I'm gonna sell 100 wood to get the other 70 gold. And ideally, I would do this in a way that I would send 3 of these bills on this gold, and then as they would collect 30 gold, they would keep going and make the second lumber camp. So I could do it here as well, make the lumber camp there. But as you can see on this map, there's no such route. So I just have to have some extra idle time and go back with the Vil twice. Because I've already decided that my TC will be here, another TC will be there. There's just this perfect 4x4 patch for an extra TC. And the main thing when you're placing TCs in a fish boom is that you have a great wood line. That's the most important thing. Everything else is secondary. So while this wood line might not be the best, it's still very close to both golds, and it'll be just enough, for me to make it through Castle Age, and then after that point I'll be fully on gold anyway. So I went up with 24 Vils. I'm gonna save myself 1 trip back. I'm gonna make the mill with this guy when he has 10 gold. Second lumber camp is in. Quite important, I believe, just because of how pathing works in DE, you cannot survive with one number camp. There's the 9th fish coming out, so it will be 9 fish indeed. And yeah, we can speed it up a little bit. So yeah, as far as eco upgrades are concerned, we're gonna do both wood upgrades immediately as soon as we can, kind of obvious. Gill nets as well. They are quite expensive, but at the point where you upgrade them, there's no more fish left, so you know every fishing ship you produce also needs to spend 100 wood on the fish traps. That's 175 res, and if you know all of them are working faster, it's just like it just works out that way that it's worth researching it. So market blacksmith, obvious. I'm doing the blacksmith with this will, so I spent as little time on the berries as I have to. Probably make a house with him as well. And yeah, let's speed it up again. Now at this point, on the way to Castle Age, we are basically in need of, I think, exactly 850 wood when we hit Castle Age. So that's twice, 275 wood for the TCs and 200 wood for gill nets and 100 wood for bow saw. And you spend all that wood, then your goal is to keep all the TCs running, all the docks running. So let's see how I'm able to achieve that. Yep, preparing the wheels for the TC spots. Bam, bam. I'm gonna shift click them as well at some point so they don't automatically go on gold. Sending the wheel around here. So I've decided to go for 4 docks because if you really heavily micromanage everything, I think it's just a better option. First of all, you save a little bit of wood on the 5th dock, but most importantly, you don't overinvest into your eco because you're not really going for elephants. This is not a real game. You're not gonna sling your flank the extra food. You just need from like 40 to 45 fish traps, and that's enough to do the paladin. And you don't want to slow down your imp time too much. But speaking of imp time, so the general idea is that you would finish your paladin timing at about the same time your last, so your basically 60th paladin would be produced. Then if you can time those things right, then you can afford to go a bit later to imp and have a little bit stronger eco, a bit more fish traps a bit earlier, because after you research paladin, you know, you're kind of wasting like if you researched it too early, then you had to have those rests too early. That means you had to like have spent less of it on eco to have it earlier, you know what I mean? So it has to be time right. So basically in this kind of setup, I only had one time, exact time calculated, and that was when I wanted to click imp. Everything else was kind of done intuitively after I knew what I want to do. But I calculated how long it takes to research paladin with conscription, cavalry before that, and what end time that produces, and that was the only benchmark I was trying to reach. So I'm building houses with this woman right here. You typically don't get enough houses from just one vill. Every now and then you have to build a house with a random villager or you'll get housed. I think I might have gotten housed in this one, but I'm also force dropping. So the way I'm doing this is I'm kind of staggering it. So maybe I'm selecting these to force drop, and then the next time I'm force dropping with these. Otherwise, the food just comes in too big of chunks later, right? Because it takes a long time to go from 0 to 15, and you force drop with all of them, then it will take a very long time before, you know, they all collect 15 food, and then you get a massive boost of food, and it just works poorly for the later economy that way. So yeah, back to eco upgrades. Wheelbarrow and handcart, not worth researching. It says here, I believe, yeah, it's just 2% faster mining, 3% faster wood cutting. The wheelbarrow would barely pay itself back if you did it after you click up. There it is. Here's the house. And we're gonna pause. Good thing I reminded myself. So 2000, 86 pop. Doesn't get much better than that. And yeah, we're not gonna reach the other Ganges benchmarks, which tells you a lot about how unrealistic they are. So I think we're gonna actually be kind of behind at minute 22 or 24, but way ahead at 2000, which is the important one. So I also went on gold, I guess about a minute ago, and I'm just gonna collect 800 gold without selling anything. Because I have the gold near my TCs, I don't need to make a mining camp. It's just more efficient that way. I don't want to be selling food yet. I'm trying to keep everything running all the time. And at some point, I'm gonna have to save up some wood for the upbuildings, which might be soon enough. Let's see. There it is. So it's a workshop because it's built faster than a uni, and it's a monastery because it's cheaper than both of them. So these are the correct buildings to go up with. You could potentially go up with a castle directly to save some wood, but I didn't try it. I just like kind of decided it's too slow, it won't work, your imp time will be too late because you have to go too early on stone to collect 650. The castle builds a bit slower, you have to build it with so many vills. I don't think it works out, but someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm still making fish, so I'm trying to avoid all the corner fish because I just have bad experience with them from the past. I probably won't do a single corner fish trap, but maybe I'll do one here, like here or there. We'll see. Right, so now that I clicked up, now it's time for the gold upgrade because now the gold saturation will happen. And I also went with 20 vills on stone after I click up because I need to have a castle up. By the time I hit imp 2, click conscription immediately. Very important upgrade. There's no way you're gonna have the same great uptime without conscription. And that applies to real games as well. If your pocket, your job is to do conscription within the first few minutes of imp, it makes everything else so much faster, so much easier. If you don't have a castle ready up, you're a noob, work on it. So here are the stables. And now another important concept to understand is that, yeah, I'm gonna squeeze in the, first 2 cavalry upgrades, but I'm gonna wait with the third armor upgrades, but I'm gonna wait with the third one, and I'm even gonna wait with bloodlines and husbandry. And the reason for that is that you want to obviously click paladin immediately after the cavalry finishes, right? But that one is the most expensive one, so all the time up to that point you want to spend all your rest on making knights, and then only after you click paladin you want to save up for the other 3 upgrades, because otherwise that would like make you have fewer knights on the field, which means you would have to do more stables. So it's all about optimizing stuff, right? So you want to have as few stables as possible to sell all that extra wood, but that means you need to have all of them producing as much as they can, which means you're delaying the other non-essential upgrades that don't take as long to, as late as you can, so that your eco is stronger when you click them, so that you produce more knights earlier. I don't know, it's hard to, I mean, it's a very easy concept, but I might not have done a good job explaining it. So anyway, we're spamming stuff. We took that boar, I didn't show it, but why? Because now we need all the extra food income that we can get without investing anything for it, right? So if I made more fish traps now, there it is, the corner fish trap. I hope it's not bugging out and depositing here or something idiotic like that. So you wanna, yeah, get the food. You wanna get the berries now as well, because it's just free food source, right? So these are obviously better long term, but now it's all about seconds. So squeeze in as much gold and food as you can, full saturation everywhere, extra mining camps, and we're selling wood. And basically now we're already checking here how many paladins future paladins we have at certain moment in time. So we built 13 stables. Thought I did 12, but apparently I did 13. I was a bit hesitant maybe that 12 won't be enough. But yeah, so at around the time when you would have, let's say 48, 49 total cavaliers, then you know that if you can get all your stables to work, to produce, then you just need to wait out that one round of production and the challenge is done, because the paladin will, and that's right now, that happened right now. So right before that I force drop everything, all these vills, all those guys, all the fish, right? You see there, yeah, they were all force dropped, and that's the challenge. I hope you learned something, and see you next time, if there is a next time.